a round of introductions. This is the direct dialogue between South Sudan and the KIX Hub Secretariat here at UNESCO ICPA, the International Institute of Capacity Building in Africa. So we'll begin with some introductions. We have up to an hour and a half, more like an hour and 15 minutes for this meeting today. So we'll go until up to 12 o'clock noon, South Sudan time. So right now, let's spend a couple of minutes on introductions. I'll start that. My name is Marianne Dreyes-Checha, and I am the team leader and management consultant for the KIX Africa 19 Hub here at UNESCO ICPA. I've been part of this team now for 2 months, working closely with my team members who are here on the call today, as well as interacting a bit with Mabur Tour, the focal point. My background is in teaching, learning, as well as assessment and international education development. So can I call on, is Victoria with us? No, Victoria's not with us right now. I think let's go over to the South Sudan team now. So Mr. Mabur, would you like to introduce yourself and then call on your colleagues to do the same?
Sarafino Isa Salvatore. I'm working for National Ministry of Education, General Education, particularly working for early childhood.
Thank you, and you're welcome here.
Amochan Lino Victor. I'm working for National Ministry of Education, South Sudan, as a senior inspector. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you, Oshan. Thank you, and you're welcome here to this meeting today. Thanks for being here. Sabit? Sabit John, are you able to hear me? Would you like to go next?
I have problem with the network. I'm always on and off, but I can hear you right now.
Okay. All right, no problem. If you can hear me, would you like to introduce yourself to the rest of the team who's here? We have both a mixed team from UNESCO ICPA as well as from your side. So they already know you well, but it would be nice to also hear your introduction.
Yes, I'm Sebit John Mark. I work for National Examination Council as the Deputy Secretary for Secondary Examinations here in Juba. Thank you.
Thank you, Sabit John, and you're welcome here to this meeting today.
Thank you, thank you.
And Mabur, can you hear me? We might have to continue without Mabur. If you're able to hear me, then we'd like you to introduce yourself. Otherwise, yes, I see you. I've unmuted. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Yes, hello.
Are you getting me?
Yes.
Can you hear me now, clear?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, right. I've now joined, and my name is Mabur as well as the KIX focal person for South Sudan. And it's good that we are at this meeting today. And yes, others will be joining us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mabur. And I'd also like to thank you for helping to organize today's meeting, Mabur. You've been very, you've been active in the hub, and we've noticed that. We've taken notice of your involvement and the way that you've organized your team together today for this meeting. So we do thank you for that, and we're excited to see your involvement and hoping that the same spirit continues. So we thank you.
Thank you too. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wonderful. And I think that that's it from the South Sudan side. Can I call on my colleagues to introduce themselves, starting with Hongi?
Thank you, Marianne. My name is Njora Hungi. I'm a senior project officer at UNESCO ICBA, and I'm supporting the KIX team. Thank you.
Thank you, Hongi. Welcome. And Yvonne?
Thank you. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Yvonne Boya. I work for UNESCO ICBA in the KIX project as a mail consultant. Thank you.
Thank you. Bezowit?
Thank you, Marianne. Hi, everyone. My name is Bezawit. I work for UNESCO ICBA for KIX project as data management assistant. Thank you.
Thank you, Bezowit. And Henok, if you're able to take a moment out for this and introduce yourself, that'd be great.
Thank you, Marianne. My name is Henok. I'm from UNESCO ICBA. I'm the IT support, and I'm here for technical support during the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Henok. Again, welcome to the whole team. We know that you're very busy. You have a lot of responsibilities. And so we're very pleased that you've taken out this time. And we know that you're busy. We saw that last week the meeting had to be rescheduled. And so that just makes this time even more special that you're able to come together and meet us. This meeting today is supposed to open up a direct line of dialogue and coordination between you and between us. You know that the KIX Africa 19 Hub is working to support you in your projects, in your plans, and in your work that you're already engaging in your respective areas. And the purpose of this meeting is to see how we can better support you. If there's anything that has arisen since we last spoke, and this is a way for us to begin the new project year. We've just begun the second year of the project, and it's a good way to start on a fresh page and meet everyone directly, especially since we do have a new team in place. All the members that are here with us today, except for Hongi and Henok, who were perhaps supporting KIX before, we're all new to the team. And so we really want to know that, have you know that we're here to support you in your work and find specific ways to do that will work out best for South Sudan. So the agenda for the meeting is up on the screen. I'm going to give a brief overview of the KIX Africa 19 Hub and then the country engagement strategy, and then look at South Sudan's priorities as expressed previously through various assessments to see if they're still valid and true or whether they need to be updated as to what your priorities are for this year. And then we'll open up to have the majority of the session being a listening session where we hear directly from you, from the three of you, about your plans, projects, your expectations for future engagement, etc. So we'd like to hear from you directly at that point. And I said three, I actually meant all of you. I'm sorry, the whole team who's here with us today. And at the end, we'll talk about takeaways from this dialogue, next steps, and how practical ways in which we're going to be supporting you. Okay, so let's go forward. So this is a picture from one of our recent learning events about assessment. And so the big question here is in the hub is that what kind of possibilities can we achieve by learning and by working together? The hub is a platform that's entirely run on networks and engagement. So it's a place where we put people together, we put you in contact with others who are working on similar issues, similar goals, in regional and contextual similarities. And it's a place to come together to learn and collectively make sense of that and build capacity in similar areas. There are 18 partner countries in the hub. You're probably already quite familiar with many of them. And as you can see, they're spread out mostly in Eastern, Southern, and Western Africa. And the South Sudan has been a member that increasingly has been engaging. In the short time that this team has been in place, we've seen quite a lot of action from South Sudan, and that's very promising. So the Hub's vision and mission is to become a one-stop regional resource forum for African education stakeholders in locating, harnessing, and implementing robust and emerging evidence on the 6 thematic areas of KIX and for the realization of Sustainable Development Goal 4 and the Continental Education Strategy for Africa's goals for education. And we run on 3 principles, 3 values. We value country-led and country-centered dialogue, ideation, and innovation. So country-led and country-centered. Country-led is the stage that we're at right now. Country-centered is trying to center everything around what countries have requested, what they need, and the gaps that they've identified in themselves for capacity building and for development. And country-led as well is a component that it would be wonderful to see countries actually picking up some of the learning and then leading it, taking it forward and working on areas when they go back to their respective departments and units. So really leading on certain areas because of the work that they're doing through the Hub and the ideas and the resources that they're put in touch with. So we also run on a principle of trusting relationships and partnerships that transcend national borders. So partnerships where we can be in touch with other countries in a way that maybe wasn't so possible before KIX, like learning alongside and building capacity with other countries who may be facing similar issues, but maybe in different ways, or developing curriculum in different places at the same time, but very similar needs and outcomes of the curricula. So opening up channels of communication that weren't there before in areas for educational development. And also the idea of evidence of decision-making, so that all decision-making should be backed up by evidence and by data. So there are 3 elements of our engagement strategy for all countries, including with South Sudan. So the first objective is to generate and mobilize knowledge, data, and innovation to facilitate an assessment, the data challenge, gender, inclusion, and equity, making sure that all learners are reached, and early childhood education. So those are some of them. Those are some of the most important ones that really underpin the others. So we're working on generating new learning in these areas, as well as mobilizing and sharing existing knowledge and innovation in these areas. Also, objective 2, working to enhance countries' technical capacity to implement their new learning and their new knowledge by reviewing opportunities and gaps in policies, education sector plans, institutions, and systems. And the third objective is to do what we are actually doing right now for the benefit of objectives 1 and 2, which is to really sustain the engagement of the most relevant and resourced actors through frameworks, documentation, and publicizing. So sustaining your engagement is a goal in itself. And we know that you all have the ability and the capacity to do something with what you learn when you're in contact with others in the Hub. So you would be considered relevant and resource actors, very much so in the Hub. So making sure that we're reaching the right people and making sure that we keep your engagement. So I would like to take a look at some of the priorities now in education and show you what we've learned from speaking with country representatives from the ministries, just like yourselves, and from local education groups as well. So in a series of different assessments in the first project year, we learned that teaching and learning is the top priority for countries, followed closely by the data challenge, inclusivity, learning assessment, and early childhood education. So we know from looking at this is that these are the areas of concern. These are the areas that matter most greatly to our KIX community. We got similar results when we asked the local education groups, what are your top priorities? Teaching and learning emerged as the top priority, followed by early childhood education and the others. So teaching and learning is an area that is deemed extremely important for development. We also asked you in October, what are the specific areas that you would like capacity strengthening assistance with? So what is it specifically that you would like to learn more about? And we asked the same question about what kind of research, problem-solving research would you like to know more about? Now, this is one of the reasons that we brought you here today, is that we have a very extensive list here. That's very good. That's very responsive, is that we've got a lot of areas that you've identified that you'd like to work on. We'd first like to know, though, which one of these, or which couple of these, 2 or 3 of these, do you think are the most important going forward? So we have a long list here, and these are from your responses in the Rapid Needs Assessment in October. So you've told us in that that survey, it was a survey form, that you'd like to have capacity strengthening work in policy design and analysis, educational planning and projection techniques, project cycle management, including software applications, results-based management, and MEL, monitoring, evaluation, and learning, transformational and instructional leadership, advanced qualitative and quantitative research methodology. And if I recall, in a previous conversation with Mabur, about a month back, I remember that you, 2 months back, I remember that you mentioned that universities in South Sudan don't always focus enough on research, on generation of research or usage of research. And so I'm thinking that this would be an area that may be of interest to you, is advanced research methodologies, as well as a research ethic. Also, application of action research was an area that you'd like to learn more about. You said knowledge management, collaborative learning and adapting, communication skills, networking, partnership building, like through this hub, formative and summative evaluation of learning, effective teaching methods for ECCE, early childhood care and education, gender mainstreaming and auditing, gender responsive pedagogy, preventing school-related gender-based violence, using technology in education, competency-based curriculum design and quality of education, and student learning during COVID-19. I won't read out the second list. I know the text is a little bit small, so I apologize that it's a little too small for the screen. There were so many areas here. It should have been 2 pages in retrospect, but these are the areas that you've identified that you'd like more research about. Many of the areas that you've identified are already available on our digital repository on our website, which I'll put the link in the chat box, or if Yvonne and Bess would be so kind as to put the link to the repository into the chat box, that would be just wonderful. Many of these areas that you've pointed out are actually, we already have research available in these on our repository that we launched last year. It's like an online digital library. And there are thematic areas there, for example, gender equity, ECCE, that meet many of the areas that you've brought up. And there's also a place where each country has uploaded their own resources that they use, or their own policies to address these areas. So my question now to you, as we move into the listening session, is about that list that I just showed you, whether there are a few of them that stand out to you, as being more urgent than the other priorities. And we can talk about your experiences with the hub and what you expect from us to support you in those top priorities. We can also talk about any changes that you've noticed in your work since the beginning of the hub. If there have been any progress updates because of something that you have learned from the hub or with others who are part of the hub, or because of a resource that you've accessed through the hub. So we'd like to know whether the project has had any type of effect on you. And you don't have to say yes, this is not a requirement, but if you have noticed any changes in anything, the way that you work, it's been done, implemented, if there's been any type of updates from your side because of the hub, we'd like to hear about that too. And then the bottom portion, aligning the hub's work. So how can we better support your priorities, your plans and your projects and your needs? So that's it from my side. I'll turn it over now to Mr. Mabur from the South Sudan team to hear from you, and we can move into the listening session. So if you'd like, I can keep this slide up, or I can go back to the slide of all of the priorities that you have identified. Just let me know if you'd like me to change slides. Over to you, Mabur.
Thank you very much. Wonderful. You have done a very good overview. I hope you are getting me. Are you all getting me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much again, ladies and gentlemen. I want to apologize because most of our participants they are not logged in because the same meeting that we adjourned, the last meeting is still on. It's been they add on one day, so more of our staff they are still in that. Some of them have not actually logged into this meeting, so I apologize for that. Of course, you are all appreciated for organizing this meeting, because what we have been doing for all the period is today before our experts from the department. And as we all log in here and attend this direct dialogue meeting between the Secretariat and South Sudan teams, I hope there will be takeaway about the activities that the Secretariat and South Sudan team has been doing. And it will also be an opportunity for stakeholders to understand the roles, the levels of engagement, and the work that the Secretariat have been doing together with developing countries. So as we are here, we will be listening together, because we've been working, we've been telling them, we work together with the Secretariat, and we need to listen now from our expert groups of the department. Our experience, of course, with the Secretariat have been so excellent, and I think we have been cooperated the same against to our work in South Sudan. We have been coordinating, and of course we learn so more on the area of priorities. I think we collected priorities from the same people that are online today. And together we actually work on data validation, and our engagement actually with the teams and with the secretariat has been all that about data collection. Our expectation today as I put it, we are members, but we're going to be doing it as a collective responsibility. As we all join in here together with our experts, from the department, concerned, mostly from the six, are all locked in here. Therefore, our response on a response, which actually reflects it as a team alone, but we as stakeholders. So we are giving opportunity. We are going to add on the areas that they feel like there is a change. They feel like the priority is not this that has been displayed, but something that they need to be a priority and priority of the department. So we are giving opportunity to them now to add on into what they see that they need to add on. And that's why I'm saying we'll be silent there to run in and say, okay, we need to change this. But they have to run in and say, we need to change this. We need to put this as our priority. Because this work here, to me, has been so crucial for the ministry and for South Sudan to have our priorities being funded. I believe that GPE now in South Sudan has been active in so many departments, and I want to regret that somebody from UNICEF, which is our guarantor in South Sudan, is not online. It's supposed to be online. It's absent. It's not online. Also, our chairperson, the GP focal point in South Sudan, is not online. He's attending the other meeting, the General Education Review meeting, and he's supposed to be here to review. I mean, to take us quickly on the GPE funded project in South Sudan within the ministry. All our work here has been facilitated by GPE, and that's why we are very happy that this secretariat is an initiative of GPE, and we need to send in all our priorities so that our priorities are also prioritized within the secretariat. Because if our priorities are not prioritized within the secretariat, we will end up being ranked far away from the needed country. And we, South Sudan, are one of the needed countries that needed to get funding from the GP and from the secretariat so that our projects are running. Now, on the 3rd of May, our schools are going to be reopened. And when the schools are reopened, the children, the learners need to observe the COVID-19 regulation. And those protocol, we cannot observe if we don't have the availability of the equipment that are needed for us to observe the COVID protocol. And we cannot get anything given the status of our country in terms of economy. We cannot do anything unless we get support from the donors that can support us for us to bring the needed equipment in school. As we are rushing, I need to come to conclusion that because it looks like we are running off time, and we need to listen direct from our stakeholders more, as the purpose of this one-to-one meeting is to open a direct channel of engagement and strengthen a relationship with the team, and hear direct from the stakeholders that the best way of responding to the country needs. Therefore, we need to give chance, and I want to thank you all for organizing this meeting, and I want to appreciate the secretary that is involved in this, and I hope this is not the last chance. Maybe you need to give us another chance for us to meet again and have this meeting on again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mabor. That was very extensive, very deep, very detailed. And we hear you about what you've expressed, especially with the schools reopening, that urgent need. It sounds as if, you know, that's very much top on many people's agendas is still COVID-19, the capacity to reopen safely, and also how to assess students, the learning that may have been lost, to try to gauge that, and how to fill in the gaps. So that's very much a priority. And no need to apologize about the missing members of the team. We know that you're busy, and it's great that we have the four of you here. That's I think that's actually a really great start. I wouldn't worry too much about who's not here, except that we have this chance with those who are here. And of course, the line of dialogue is now, it is open. So if you'd like to have a follow-up meeting, we're happy to do so with other members of your team who haven't been able to be here today. So don't worry about the few members. I think it's actually a good number for a good dialogue. Mabor, would you like to invite your team now to comment on some of these questions, or perhaps the previous page with the priorities listed on it, to see maybe if there's a way they can come in and prioritize certain ones of these over others?
Thank you very much. I think we have Mr. Serafino, and we are seeing from our priorities and on the graphs that early childhood is shooting higher, and we need to hear from him if he's compatible with the priorities, or he want to add on anything or want to align. Mr. Serafino, can you please try to come in and say something about the early childhood?
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Mabor, for your elaborate explanation on our priority as a government. I'm actually extremely happy to having joined this meeting today. It is my first time, and I would say a few things. I'll just say a few things. And particularly, I want you to talk the area of early childhood, the early childhood learning. You know, early childhood learning in South Sudan, it was lagging behind for so many years. But recently now the government has come on board, has brought early childhood development as one of the priorities in education, especially in general education. So in the area of early childhood, let me start with what have been done. You know, early childhood, I'm happy with our government. They have worked hard, and then they have made now the curriculum of ECD, what we call a competence-based curriculum. Now the thing that is very, very important now, as I speak now, we are looking forward to do is the area of engaging the family and the community in early childhood. Because if we don't engage this early childhood community and parent, this early childhood, sustainability will be a problem. Because we know most of our communities in South Sudan, especially rural communities, they don't understand much about the importance of early childhood education. For them, they think that this early childhood education is like just playing, it's just like wasting time. Those who mostly understand are those who are in towns, in cities. They are understanding in a few areas it means that there's still a lot of work to be done in South Sudan for early childhood to proceed ahead, to expand. Because of that, we are trying to see how we can engage families and communities. World Bank has now started trying to find out, to gather data on family engagement and community engagement in early childhood. The area which are very crucial for us now, very, very, very crucial, is a policy. Because as I speak now, we don't have a standalone policy for early childhood. We have a policy within the bigger policy of the ministry. A policy is a roadmap. You cannot do things without having a clear policy, the policy that you have, that is talking about the area that you want to develop, of the area that you want to push ahead. So the policy is a crucial for us now. We know the rest of the priority, which is indicated they are good, but the policy is paramount. That's the thing that shortly I want to talk about. But I hope as we continue to go on in this KIX dialogue, we shall have more to speak about. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Maren, do you need to come in?
No,
Hello,
no, that's
Chelsea. Okay, thank you very much. That was Serafino and a director from Early Childhood Department. And I think he's putting policy as the indicator that they need to address urgently. Thank you very much. As we are running with the time, we need to ask Sabit John. Sabit John is from Secretariat General's Examination, Secretariat South Sudan, is online. And we are also saying learning aspect, as I think the Secretariat have said something about it. Sabit, if you are online, please, you need to say something about the assessment. Of course, we have a problem this year, or I mean next year, and last year, and this year. We have COVID, and our people are starting late, and we don't know what do we do about it. The other time I was asking, what do we do? What other countries are doing about this period that have been lost? And how do we go on the assessment? And how do we assess our learners? Despite that we have lost sometimes, or they lost the whole period. Sabit, welcome. Hello, Sabit. Hello. Hello, Sabit, do you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. I hope you are hearing me well.
Now, yeah, your voice has come. Oh, okay, welcome.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Mr. Amabon, and the rest of the team members. Once again, I'm Sabit from National Examination Council, and this is my first time also to attend this meeting together. I wasn't part of the data collection process, I think, but I totally agree with the priorities that we have collected as a ministry, and specifically priorities that are touching the National Examination Council. Being a very new institution, National Examination Council is still building on its capacity, and I can see many things being put as the priorities, which I agree with them very well. The first thing I would like also to agree with is with Mr. Serafino, the same challenge they are facing in ECD is what we are facing. Policy design and analysis. Up to now, the National Examination Council has not yet developed their independent policy So it is still a challenge. We are in the process and it needs support. We have drafted and we are working on it, but I feel this is where one of the areas that we will need a lot of support. I've seen also area touching on summative evaluation of learning. Of course, summative evaluation of learning.
Sabit, hello, Sabit. Can we interview? Your background is people are talking there. Can you stop them from doing that? Go ahead. Hello.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Welcome.
Are you getting me?
Yes. Hello. Yeah, you are cutting.
Yeah.
We're saying your background is full of people talking.
I apologize. I felt I'm in the office and some of them don't know I'm in a meeting. That's why they are talking. Sorry for that. I'm in the office, yeah. Yeah, I was talking about summative evaluation especially, which is one of our own priority in examination. We have a lot of challenges in summative evaluation because as a new institution, most of our practices are still traditional and we want to move to the contemporary practices, and that poses us a lot of challenge. So that is the area. Otherwise, I agree with all the priorities stated, and I still believe we can achieve them through this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Mabor, could I just ask one question, one follow-up question of Sabit John, if that's all right?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much for that. It's very clear. You've mentioned policy design and analysis for assessment practices, but you've mentioned that you'd like support in summative assessment, but that you're also trying to move away from traditional assessment. So I think I'd like to ask you, what is your definition of traditional assessment? Because usually traditional is defined as more summative type practices, but I'd like to know what your definition of your traditional summative methods are and what you're trying to move away from and what you're trying to move towards.
Well, I was talking about traditional practices. When I traditional practices, I was meaning this, when we do registration, there are this registration that you can do on Excel form, and some modern examining bodies, they have moved into computerized sheet that you can just register and they run through scanner, and then all the students are registered. The same when it comes to processing examination results, for example, we are still doing it traditionally where you can enter it manually into the computer. But in some modern examining bodies, they also have electronic mark sheets where you enter the marks and then they are run through the machine and all the marks are entered electronically. So those are the traditional practices I was trying to say we want to move away from. Thank you.
Thank you. I understand much better now. Thank you so much. Over to you, Mr. Mabor.
Yeah, thank you very much. In fact, I think Sabit was saying what people have been talking about in South Sudan, particularly Sudan, but how to get the result of examination and what could be the best way of assessment. And I think it's one of the priorities which we need to add on if it is not part of our priority. Thank you very much, Sabit. And now I'm not seeing the list of those that are blocked in here, but if anybody has blocked in, especially in the area of teaching and learning also, someone can talk about this, and especially with Chan. If you are online here with Chan, because our list is now small, please you can say something about teaching. And Ushan is from secondary, is one of the country representatives and online. We have invited people from inclusive education, especially from gender and teaching department, but they are not online. So we still are comfortable with our priorities and the capacity that we need as country, but we can still add on. So we can, if you're online here, please, can you say something about teaching area? Welcome. Hello, Shan.
Mabor, can I come in here? Chan doesn't seem to be online.
I didn't see you. Your here is Jackson Okello.
Yes.
Maybe you have just come in now because we were not there. I'm not seeing the list of the participants because I've not actually clicked that. But let me click it and know who is online. So welcome. I think maybe you begin introducing yourself and then you can welcome.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Mabor. For the sake of others who are online, my name is Jackson Okello. I'm the country manager for Africa Educational Trust, based in Juba. I just want to give an overview of distance education program and the contextual part of the distance learning in South Sudan. First of all, with the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic in last year, from March, I think the ministry was tasked to develop distance study material for children who are out of school and they are already at home. And that was basically the radio learning program. The teachers were trained to write scripts, and the scripts were revised, edited, and then approved, and then taken for recording. So there were two approaches used. One approach was recorded scripts that can be saved in a flash and can be used anywhere across the country. And then the other version was the live lesson presentation over the radio. And the third one was online. You can teachers were teaching and the lesson was recorded live so that learners can be able to access on their WhatsApp, on their YouTube, and they can access the learning. However, that was a good start, but it really required quite a lot of improvement. One thing is our big challenges across South Sudan is connectivity. There are quite very limited number of children or students or pupils who can access learning materials online because of poor connectivity. Two, our radio stations do not cover the whole country. So that means in other areas, children cannot access learning by radio because there are no radios. And then the third challenge is it is actually listening to a radio is a hobby and a habit that needs somebody needs to instill in himself. So most of our families do not have access even to radios. And even if they have access to radios, they would not really tune in onto the radio to listen to the lesson. So our connectivity is quite poor. Our radio programming is also quite limited in number. And even in schools, there are no radios. And the teachers in schools and the head teachers also require quite a lot of kind of orientation program for them to be able to listen to lessons on live and then listen to lessons over the radio. And I think there has been quite a little bit of an assessment of the radio presented online. So I haven't seen that report, but I think the ministry tried as much as possible to make sure that children learn through the radio, though quite a limited number of children were benefiting from that, and the children were not in control of any teacher. So it poses quite a lot of challenge whether children were able to access the lessons by radio, or they were able to access the online material. So I think going forward, actually even the teachers who are already in schools, much as people are planning to reopen schools, teachers will need to be given an alternative approach of teaching using the radio and also using the online version of the radio presentation. And they should also be able to given some training on how radio scripts are written. I know writing radio scripts is not easy, but it's a good opportunity. It's an opportunity that teachers will need to get the skills of how they can develop their own radio scripts. Those are the challenges we have. One is connectivity, and of course our radio signals do not cover the whole country. That's just an overview of the online and then the radio program lessons. Thank you. Over to you, Mabor.
Thank you very much, Jackson, for overview on learning during COVID-19. Marin, do you have questions to Jackson?
Thank you, Mabor.
Hello?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Do you have questions? Do you have questions to Jackson or Kelo?
No, not exactly questions, just notes for follow-up. But I think that Yvonne from my team has a question. So Yvonne, please.
Thank you, Marianne and Mr. Mabor. This is, I don't think it's specifically to Jackson, but it should be to Sarafino. From the first report that you gave, you said that the government has established a CBC, and I see from the areas of interest, CBC is one of the areas that you need a strengthening. So basically, I would like to know at what level is it? Is it only in ECE, or is it in primary, or has it gone all the way to secondary? Because this is one area that so many states are trying to build on. So we'd like to know your experience, so that if there is some learning that you're able to share with the member states, then there's something I'm sure they can learn from you. Was I clear?
Yes, Sarfino, are you online? Hello, Sarfino. Maybe I have difficulties with connection. Is going to come. We can still go on.
It's already online.
Hello. Hello. Sarfino. Okay, maybe is holding on. Please, can you hold on with your answer while we proceed because of time. Thank you very much, Jackson.
Anybody can answer. Thank you.
It's online. It's online. It's going to respond.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. I did not.
Yes, you are clear.
Well. Yeah, so I did not get the point well because of the line.
Okay, I can repeat. I would like to know, one of the areas that you have listed as needing strengthening is the competency-based curriculum design. And I think in your first statements, you said that the government has established the CBC. So I just wanted to know, at what level is it? Is it just in preschool, primary, or has it gone all the way to secondary? Because this is an area that most states are trying to develop. And so we'd like to know where you are at so that you can also share best practice. I'm sure as much as you listed it as an area that needs strengthening, the best practices that other states can learn from you. So that is basically what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Yeah, the area of competence-based curriculum. You know, our country.
Competence-based curriculum.
Yeah, competence-based curriculum is starting from early childhood up to secondary level. We have actually started making orientation for the teachers on that new curriculum. In the state, we have already started making orientation right from ECD up to secondary. That it has been done. The curriculum is done, and then the textbook, especially from primary 1 up to senior 4, the textbook are produced, and then they are sent to the state through our partners.
Yeah, thank you very much, Serpino. I think that area is very clear. We had a competent-based curriculum that were developed exactly from early childhood up to secondary levels. The orientation, teacher orientation were done, and of course they are now sending a syllabus to schools. But we also need more training. All along we were supposed to be joined by somebody from curriculums, and would have talked about that we need to add on, we need to do more training to the teachers, because every time our teachers are not stable, and of course, given to our situation as a new country. So our teachers are coming in and out, and we need to continue with the training of teachers, orientation, training, and be able to ensure that curriculum is being taught well in schools.
Mr. Mabo,
Jackson Okello.
Can I mention one thing?
Yes, welcome, Serapino.
Concerning the point Okello has already mentioned. Because there's an area of quite mentioned well, all the area on the online and on air learning, which is happening in South Sudan. Now I want to say the area particularly for ECD, which is going on also side by side with the other one. For ECD, they are doing on TV. It's happening on TV. I think it's mostly happening within Juba here. That is what I wanted to add on what he's saying.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think Okello has come in with the COVID-19 learning period. And I think, Marine, as we are talking about improving education, Jackson talked about the online lesson and on radio. And as well as you went on to add on some challenges. And of course, challenges are so great in terms of infrastructure, ICT in South Sudan. ICT in South Sudan actually is very poor, and that's why we have challenges, especially like ECD teaching online has a lot of challenges. It is only within Juba that you find that there is a screen. But if you go to the other areas or hard to reach areas, it is totally off. And Okel also talk about something on writing scripts. And it's so very important that we have to train our teachers to be able to write scripts. Thank you very much. We are seeing online Miss Christine from UNICEF, and the focal point for this program is online here. It's our partner, and is in charge of ECD online training. And Kristen, you are welcome. Please to say something. Hello, Kristen Meling.
Hello.
Yes, hello, you're welcome. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. What do I do?
Yes, we are getting you.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mabor. Thank you for inviting me. I've been
Yes.
struggling to join actually, and I'm sorry I came in late when you had already started the meeting. So I've been following the presentation, and I just want to give an overview of the current situation of early childhood education in the country, and Sarafino has already highlighted some of the points. What I would like to bring forward is that where ECD is at the moment is that the ministry in collaboration with the UNICEF and the World Bank had a study, a diagnostic workshop, and the findings of the report actually were shared. And then we had a consultant which worked on the report, and we have the final draft with us. And based on that report, I think 2 recommendations came up. That is the finalization of the education strategy, the ECE strategy and the ECE action plan. So this is something that the Ministry of Education through the ECD department has prioritized. I think Sarafino and his director are taking lead of this to ensure that we have this at least maybe finalized by the the second quarter of this year. So when we come to the issue of system strengthening, we discussed also before with the ministry team is that we need an ECE policy. Policy actually and standards, because at the moment, the programming of ECE has no direct guideline, which we can share with the partners to ensure that implementation is done systematically or in coordination with different stakeholders. So having a policy and the standards in place will help us in this programming. The other issue also we talked about is the capacity building. Capacity building mainly on ECE plans. You talked about the curriculum already. How do we ensure that, even if we do orientation at the state level, we have to ensure that we orient all stakeholders to be able to implement this curriculum. Other plans also could include, like the pre-service and the in-service teacher training curriculum, which is still also in draft. I'm not sure whether it is finalized. Maybe Sarafino can confirm. So we need all this, to build capacity to ensure that we have, a systematic implementation of ECE programs or activities. Another component also could be the communication strategy. Is also one key recommendation that came up when we had the diagnostic report, that we need to have a clear communication strategy for early childhood education. And then also building partnerships will be very important, because as we see at the moment, even from UNICEF side, the funding is only for emergency, and there is no clear funding that comes only for early childhood education. So building partnership to ensure that we support this area will be something that is really very important. I will finalize by saying that at the moment also we have begun the implementation of the KIX project, and Sarafino also can confirm this. We have already formed a technical committee, and we've already conducted 2 meetings of with this committee. And we hope to have another meeting next week, and then then we just start rolling out our activities on this project. And in the KIX project, actually, we have highlighted most of these key areas where I have highlighted, like the policies and then the standards and the strategies. We have highlighted this. It's a small funding, but we'll be talking to our GPE team here to see if we can be supported to ensure that we implement all these areas that I've mentioned. So the project has just started, and really we hope to speed it up to make sure that we reach to certain stages at least by the end of the second quarter. So this is what I can tell you briefly about the current situation of early childhood education. I'm sorry if I've gone out of the box, but because really I'm not sure what I'm supposed to talk about, because I came late for this meeting. Thank you, team. Any question is welcome. And my colleague Sarafino from the other side, you can also add if you have any other points to add, or maybe if there's something that I've missed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kristen Meling. Serafino, I've already talked about your area because you come late because you're at the meeting. I think you made a very good contributions all over on communication, on the strategies, on the policy, on the partnership, on the and we are glad to hear that KIX already have a project that have been started. Marin, if you have questions or your team have questions to Marine or to the teams, maybe you are welcome before we made any conclusions.
Yeah, my question is it Marlene or who? Yes. Anyway, my question to our organizers is that how are we going to work with you? For example, that we will be implementing this KIX project in coordination or in collaboration with the Ministry of Education. So how are we going to collaborate with you? Thank you.
Mr. Mabor.
Yes.
Yes. Can I respond? Because Christian has said something I need to confirm.
Okay.
Two things.
All right.
One,
you're welcome.
One is with the KIX project.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, it is true. We have started with the formation of a technical working group. Now we have made a draft of TOR. Now we are coming to the final part of the TOR for that project. As she has already elaborated it on that. Yes, we have started it in some few areas, as she already mentioned. Now concerning the area of pre-service curriculum for training ECD teachers. Yes, it has been started. It is directly under teachers education, but it is not yet complete. This is what I want to respond.
Okay.
Complete.
Okay. And any other process would be done with here. All we need to do is to contribute to this and try to write our priorities before the KIX secretariat, and then be able to align or add on. So any other thing that our own here we can discuss. Yes, Marine, with your teams, as the time is approaching and the other meeting is coming up later after at 2. Do you have any questions to Chris or to the teams?
I asked a question. Did you capture that? I was asking that how are we going to collaborate?
Yes, I've captured it, and I think Marin will respond to the question: how do we coordinate with Secretariat since we have started the KIX project?
Okay, I think it's I'll come in now. Thank you very much for all of those contributions. I've been taking lots of notes on what you've been saying. These are very specific areas that you've brought up. You've given your current status updates in many of these areas, and you've pointed out what you still would like to do to improve in these areas and to finish existing opening projects. This is very specific, and I'm thinking that this is going to really enrich our community of practice model that we're launching next month, built around 4 major areas. One of them is gender and inclusion. The other one is teaching and learning and assessment. One is data management, and the other one is ECCE. And everything that you've mentioned sounds like it aligns really well to the idea behind the communities of practice. As to your question, is it Christine? Is it Christine?
Kristen, yes. Kristen is asking, how do we coordinate with the Secretariat on the KIX project that we are now starting?
Right. And by the project that you're just starting, are you referring to the engagement that you're beginning with us? Is that what you're talking about? This engagement? Because we've just begun our 2nd project year. Is that what you're referring to? Like how we will work together, this team and your team?
No, I think she's not meaning that.
Hello, Marine. Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Are you
yes, I'm getting
me?
you. Are you getting me?
I think it's not getting it well. The question is, Christine is staff at UNICEF, and GPE is being managed in UNICEF in South Sudan. They are the grantor. And it's saying now they have started a project that is being funded under knowledge and innovation. And it's saying, well, we are implementing this project. How do we coordinate with secretariat? How do we coordinate with secretariat? Do they need to know any progress on this? And how do we need to inform them that yes, we have progress here on this project, and for I think for the serving purposes, for the information serving purpose.
Right. Okay, I understand better now. So just a little bit of background. You probably know that the GPE KIX platform is quite large, and there are many elements to that. So if KIX is helping to manage and implement projects with UNICEF, that would be a slightly different area than our area, although there would be areas perhaps to collaborate in with that. But we are mostly concerned with the work that we're doing here in the KIX Africa 19 hub with the 18 countries, with the ministries of education, with that direct line of contact with national ministries. And we're also working with the African Union and UNICEF Asaro, together the three of us, supporting the ministries of education in the various countries. But of course, there are UNICEF contacts that are also part of that. So really, we are at the service to support the ministries of education, the teams that are from the ministries, as well as from influential local education groups in the existing projects that you're working in. We support on knowledge management and knowledge support. So for example, the next slide, these list of the research topics that you've pointed out. These are areas in which we would like to support you in by providing you with the research, with the existing resources and knowledge that we have both in our repository and also ones that may come from other countries that are not in our repository yet, to support you in these areas. But what we are doing is that we're something more practical, is that we're launching a capacity building learning series. And this will be in the 4 areas that I've mentioned. So gender and inclusion, foundations of teaching and learning and assessment, which encompasses many of the areas that you've mentioned specifically. We've talked about the need to assess students after COVID and the competency-based curriculum. Another area is ECCE, and another area is data management systems. So all of those areas that you've mentioned link up to those 4 communities of practice. And in those communities of practice, we would like to have the ministry officials who are part of this KIX team coming in frequently for regular work in exchange to learn from technical experts, and then to bring that back and decide how back in your respective areas. So that is what I can say that is the way that we are supporting you in the next few months, that as well as putting you in touch with the technical experts and with others in the network, as well as with information about. I hope I made myself clear.
Thank you very much, Marin. I think I want to take it over to you. The time has come. I am hearing there beside you. You are seeing there is a sound of a time has come. Maybe we want to take it over to you, the mic, and I want to just come in to talk in here and their contributions. It was a very good meeting, and I hope it will change something within our work and within the data that we have. Jackson coming with the learning during COVID-19, and is talking about online and on radio teaching that we have been doing, and we have challenges, and I think we need to add on, and we see about, and all that actually lead to how we improve in ICT in South Sudan. It's all about improving ICT, try to see into that some of the areas that don't have connectivity are connected, and we have to work together with our partners to see into that our school also are connected. And thank you very much. Maybe we need to give it to you because of time. And I don't know whether we have a burning information or issue. Maybe we need to ask one or two people that will have a burning information or the question that they need to ask. Can we do that, Marine?
Yes, Mabor, and I know that we're out of time, but I did want to raise the question that if there have been any changes in your work or in the work of anybody in this call today, if there have been any changes in your work or any progress updates since the project began, we'd also like to know about them. So you could either here or later via email, if you think of any changes that have been achieved because of something that has happened in the hub, maybe a meeting that was held or a webinar that was held or an article that you read that was on the repository. So anything like that that you feel maybe is because of something related to the hub. We'd also like later on this up. So that's the only additional point from my side. Other than that, I have a list of notes from this meeting, lots of takeaways, and I'd like to hear if there's anybody from my team that has anything to add in as well. Victoria, Yvonne, Bezowit.
No, from my side, just to thank the team so much for creating the time. Thank you, Mr. Mabu, for creating this wonderful forum. And I've also noticed about the confusion about the different KICs. You know, you have KICs at the global level, at the regional level, at country levels. So there are all these different layers, but I know with time that these things will get clarified to you. But thank you for your comments, your thoughts, and your contributions. I was listening in carefully and want to appreciate you on behalf of ICBA for the time. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you, Victoria. Yvonne or Bezowit, would you like to come in?
I just want to thank the team. I don't have any more questions. Thank you for taking time to have a discussion with us. It was very insightful, and I'm sure we'll be able to make our interactions even better, and also know what areas to prioritize. Though I think that is something that we should have at least asked you, because the list is so long. Maybe if you can share with us later among the things that you have listed down as having or needing strengthening and assistance, maybe if you can pick on 3 or 4 that are the topmost priority for you and just share with us so that we can focus on those as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, now South Sudan team. Anybody with any comment? Hello?
Yes, Mr. Mabor, are you getting me?
Yes, welcome, David.
I just want to thank the teams through Marianne for the presentation that they have made. It's nice, and I hope to meet them again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other? Okay. Any questions?
I saw that Bezowit had unmuted herself. So if there's no other comments from the South Sudan team, maybe Bezowit, if you have a question or a comment.
No, Marian, I have to say thank you for joining for this informative meeting. Thank you, the team.
Okay. Thank you very much, Marian, for organizing this meeting. We are so happy that we have our day as country, as teams, and we'll be able to see from now on whichever we need to change, what are priorities. But I think we are happy, the whole team are happy with the priorities. They appreciate all the priorities that we have. All we need to do now here is to see to that our priority has been addressed, and we are getting forward. Now all we are waiting at is to to see, and I think as the team, we need to see that as the change. When we collect the data and we send the data, there's people that are always asking about the secretariat over the data that we have collected and we have sent. As we are now here, we will be actually waiting to hear that one or two of our priorities has been addressed and they have been solved. So thank you very much. Maybe take it over. And thank you very much for this day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mabor, and all of your organizing that led to today is much appreciated. You've been very, very responsive, and we're happy to work with you. It's a great pleasure to work with people who are engaged and focused and passionate. So thank you for all of that. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for making the time now between our team and your team. So welcome to do so via email or through Mr. Mabor. So feel free to contact us at any point in time. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of the day.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.